Hello and welcome, DCL fans. We're back again with another game. This is Sword Shield, and this is going to be Toxic versus Addison. So Toxic has been around in draft for a long time now. He's put up some pretty impressive tournament results in recent team tours. Definitely a solid player. And then Addie is from the Wi-Fi side of things. Some may call her a Mountie at home, for example. This is her DCL premiere in week 2, and I don't think she's played in any other major tournaments, so kind of an under-the-radar pickup. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. We're going to see a lead Azelf versus lead Machamp. So this is probably looking like a Stealth Rock Azelf, because in Gen 8 you really do want to use Garchomp more offensively. Spending a turn setting rocks up is usually not the best use for it. We do see a U-turn though, so that makes me think it's probably Scarf Azelf with Rocks Chomp. I don't know though. Let's see. Versus Toxic's team, I don't know what's bench draw, but Garchomp can just run Dual Stab with Earthquake and Scale Shot, and then be SD Rocks. You're not really hurting for a moveset necessarily, unless you really want like Draco Meteor to hit Fizdef or Rotom, but I don't really see that to be a big problem. Maybe you want Sub, I don't know. But if the Azelf is U-turning this position, it's definitely not going to be Stealth Rock, right? Because if you had Stealth Rock, that's the freest click of all time. Alright, the Machamp does stay in though. Could be Sash, could be Assault Vest, could be Pyapa Berry, just staying in on Azelf fearlessly, or just could be an aggressive play. Toxic is known for that sort of thing. Hits the knockoff on the Rotom coming in. That looks to be Fizdef Rotom, if my head calcs are correct. 29% is not a lot of damage. But anyways, you know, I think the music might be a little bit too loud. Let me just pull that down a little bit. Apologize there. So the Rotom is threatening not much to this Machamp. It's probably going to be Guts. If you're facing Rotom Wash plus potential T-Spikes, you don't have an Absorber with Dragalge. So I'd expect Guts close combat, knock off, Ice Punch for Garchomp, and then the last slot can really be anything. Maybe Earthquake. We see another knockoff predicting a Volt Switch, as the Hydro Pump only does 29, so when I was saying the Machamp could be Assault Vest, I think that is what we're seeing here. So this is probably just going to trade HP with the Rotom. Addison doesn't really have a safe switch into this, so yeah, just going to Hydro Pump again as close combat comes out, and now the Machamp is low, so it's kind of a one-for-one trade. I don't know really who that favors necessarily. I would assume that favors Toxic, because Rotom Wash is really nice for the Crobat specifically. And, you know, the Steelix. It's going to be relatively difficult to break the Steelix now, as you only have physical attackers that hit it super effectively. I guess Shadow Ball Aegislash could be good enough, as well as Earthquake, Garchomp. You know, it's not going to be doing negative damage, but the Steelix is definitely going to get some more value here coming up soon. What's going to come in to revenge this Machamp? I'm thinking probably a Garchomp here to exert the most offensive pressure. It's not like Toxic switches in well to Garchomp. There's no Fairy type, so Scale Shot is relatively free. It also allows you to not be, you know, worried about Crobat coming in and outspeeding the next turn. And like the Scale Shot switch-ins, you know, it's not going to be Steelix coming in on Garchomp necessarily, so I feel like Garchomp Scale Shot is pretty safe here. Otherwise, you know, you can go Azelf, and then, you know, if it is Scarf, you have to lock into a move. There's just a Rude that's a little scary. If you're confident that Aegislash is faster, you can also go with that. But the Zarude is like a pretty nice switch into that. It could be Choppleberry to cover close combat, as well as like a DD Scrafty type of thing. We're just kind of waiting here. The timer's getting a little bit low. And yeah, the Garchomp does come out as I thought. Probably going to see a Scale Shot here. Just Earthquake's raw on the Steelix. That was a really aggressive Steelix play, trying to call the Scale Shot and, you know, eat the next hit with Shuka Berry. But Addy makes a nice play there. covers the Steelix play with Earthquake, knowing that Toxic isn't going to pivot in something weak to Scale Shot. You know, it's either sack or go Steelix, right? So that's pretty heads up there. Earthquake breaks the Shuka Berry, but the Steelix will survive the next one and threatens with Ice Fang. Now, if Addison is Yachi Berry, she can just stay in and Earthquake again or set up Stealth Rocks, as we do predict the Garchomp to be rocks over Azelf. The Licks can also trade rocks or just Ice Fang or Toxic maybe. We do just see another Earthquake, and Ice Fang does come out, does 73. No Rocky Helmet on the Garchomp, so basically it is confirming to be offensive Chomp. Now this is in range of a Scale Shot, I'd assume anyways, 9%. Maybe with 2 hits it'll live. Steelix is really fat. Yes, we're going for 3 hits here, and she does get the 3 hits, so that's good for Garchomp. Gets the kill and the +1. White Herb is actually really strange, I feel. You don't see that like ever on Garchomp. I guess if you're worried about a Scarf Zarude, you know, revenge killing after a Scale Shot, that could be interesting. But I feel like you get more value out of like a Haban Berry in the mirror, or actually I guess not, because Scale Shot goes through that. But like a Yachi Berry would have been more useful. Yeah, I'm not so sold on the White Herb. I guess, you know, it just didn't work out here. And now the Zarude reveals to be Scarf as it outsped +1 Chomp, and now the Dragalge is in. This could be a T-Spike angle, as you are forcing out the Dragalge, or forcing out the Zarude with Dragalge, as the T-Spikes do go up, but this is a free switch for Machamp to come in. It's either a sack or you get it in on the T-Spike, so either way it's not the end of the world. Now this Machamp is looking to have a free knockoff here. You could also Earthquake, because I doubt Addy would risk the Azelf at this point, and Earthquake hits this harder, as well as also still covers the Aegislash. It hits like this like twice as hard as knockoff, which is why you would consider it. Yeah, we'll see what Toxic decides to click here. In terms of Addy, you could go Scrafty here, I guess, if you're Intimidate, because Close Combat's not a real click here. And if you are speed invested on Scrafty, you can outspeed the Machamp most likely, since it is like bulky Assault Vest. You would mostly assume max HP, max attack, unless you calc otherwise. I don't have the spreads necessarily, but Addison can confirm that with the Hydro Pump rolls. So if Scrafty does outspeed, that could be an interesting play. Just opts to stay in with the knockoff, gets rid of Helmet and just Dracos. So that means there's no Sludge Wave on this Dragalge set. That's what makes sense to me, because otherwise you would most likely just click Sludge unless it doesn't kill. Maybe your Poison Point defensive. That's the only way you wouldn't click Sludge Wave here. So maybe it's a Draco Scald for Steelix. That does make sense, but then you still want the Poison Stab for the Zarude, no? A huge Scale Shot miss as the Scrafty comes in. It's Intimidate, so it wouldn't have done too much for that, but any chip is good chip on this Scrafty. It looks to be a huge threat in the endgame. So yeah, Scrafty gets a free switch. As the initial switch into Chomp, you know, I don't see much else on the team able to do that, so you would think the Scrafty was physically defensive. Probably leftovers. So yeah, that does make sense. We're probably going to see a knockoff this turn from the Scrafty, as the Garchomp either switches into Crobat or just SDs on this. I don't think SD is a good play though, because Ice Punch could very reasonably come out. A double to Azelf. If this is Scarf, that's a great catch on the Crobat. And the Zarude is confirmed Scarf and not Heavy Duty Boots, so a Psychic here will guarantee outspeed this, do damage, and if the Zarude does come in, it'll take T-Spikes, and you do have a Fizdef Scrafty, I assume, in the back anyways for the Zarude, so it's not a big deal letting it in for free. Alright, Dragalge does come in on the Rotom-Wash Volt switch, and now this is another free Garchomp turn. Will you just click Earthquake this time? I don't feel like Scale Shot is necessary. You just want to get your like guaranteed chip. Oh, Facade is interesting. Still weaker than Earthquake though, so that's interesting. Are you saying you don't have Earthquake, or you're trying to cover the most mid-grounds possible? I don't know, because like if Azelf comes in there on an Earthquake, that's pretty bad, right? So Facade does 34. Maybe not fully Fizdef Scrafty then. It looks to be maybe just max HP? Question mark. Anyways, we are threatening Ice Punch here with a Scrafty. So Rotom could come in. Crobat could come in. Last time, Addison decided to double on the Crobat slash Rotom. Be interested to see if she does that again. I'd guess not. Down to 10 seconds on the timer for Addie. She really has to make a decision now, or else, going to lose. 5 seconds left. Lost to inactivity. That's unlucky. Well, let's do a little bit of this. So, I don't know what's going on here, but I didn't even know we had timer on. Alright, so clearly Addison is new to the tournament scene, but, yeah. Kind of anticlimactic there, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.